this. Actually, maybe staying with the Gambia was kind of limiting his own opportunities, because if you don't leave, you never know who could come knocking. And suddenly, he's become available. Ghana need a coach. Ghana is bigger than Gambia. Tunisia need a coach. Tunisia is bigger than the Gambia. Algeria need a coach. They're bigger than Gambia. So, you know, maybe he's...
There are opportunities.
Thank you.
But wherever he goes, he will still walk into the rotten management culture at a lot of these federations. One of the problems, and I watched his final press conference, and
One Onana interrupted.
he didn't, he completely let loose. He unpacked the issues from the journalist. So he speaks about how he never felt appreciated. He reminded them that before he took the job, the Gambia had gone 5 years without winning an international match.
Yeah.
Their last match was in September 2013. Their last win was in September 2013.
Before he came.
Against Tanzania. And then he got the job in October 2018. 5-year interval between their last win and then when he took the job. He also spoke about how he never felt appreciated because even when the team started winning, people now started questioning the style. And it did not matter the opponent. So he mentions that when they beat Morocco in Marrakech, something that he says even Morocco's rivals would love to have, they come back to the Gambia, and the first thing he sees in the newspapers are the style of football they play is not befitting of the Gambia.
Wow.
And he says these people have a disconnect between the reality of the country and what exists in their minds. Because if Ghana beats Morocco in Marrakech, I'll be happy.
Doesn't matter how we play.
It doesn't matter. I will be happy. But he says the newspapers discredited him. He also referenced the AFCON win in 2019. Now, that was a curious situation because 2019 was the first time in the Gambia's history they had made it to the AFCON. They didn't only qualify, they didn't only do well in that tournament, they qualified out of the group automatically. Not as one of the 4 best third-place teams. They qualified, they beat Tunisia. Now check this. According to Tom SAINTFIET, when they qualified, in the midst of the celebrations, some of the tabloids, some of the newspapers were questioning why the Gambia were not playing on the front foot against Tunisia. And he said that people... and
That's wild.
That was wild. And look, when a man says these things, when you understand the context of these things...
And then the last AFCON, they went all the way to the quarterfinals.
So that was what he was talking about, that for him, even in the midst of the celebrations, there were people who still were pessimistic and were unnecessarily critical. And he said he respects those views, but at a certain point, they need to also appreciate the gains that the team have made. But more to the points that I think he's going to find those problems wherever he's worked. Then, look, credit to him. There are many coaches who will not survive 5 years in countries like the Gambia.
Yeah.
I mean, the nonsense that we put coaches through.
Especially during a period where he did not play a single competitive game at home.
No.
Because they were banned.
And he reminded them that your country does not have a professional league. So even the backbone, the
don't have a certified stadium.
They don't have that. But he still managed to qualify for AFCON 2019, made the quarters. But what I think let him down...
2022 in Cameroon.
In Cameroon. What I think let him down was the fact that the Federation and the Sports Ministry could not prioritize the needs of the team properly. So for a country that had scanty resources and was struggling to get quality, you've mentioned how they could not play games at home. But this country, whenever they have to play games, they would prefer those big international friendlies that will cost them money because you're not Ghana, you're not Nigeria, you don't have the pulling power for Brazil to come and say, we want to play you. But they would engage in all of those deals. That will make the ministry and the FA money, but not money they would reinvest into the national team.
Right.
So the situation, and I got the sense that, look, the mutiny, as we have called it, that happened before the tournament, he knew something about it. Because the players had gone about 2 years with these bonuses not being paid, and after lies and lies and lies, only for them to now find out that, oh, the ministry can now afford a training camp in Saudi Arabia, in Dubai, in these
Because
places,
AFCON is here.
Because AFCON is here. Then they start asking themselves, so why didn't you make these monies available for us to prepare?
Fair question. Here's my question, though. Do you think he would do well elsewhere. In other words, should Ghana consider him, like seriously consider him as a candidate
I think so.
to coach the Black Stars?
He has the body of work. He may not be my #1 choice, but you cannot look past the sort of work that he has done places like Namibia, Zimbabwe, and especially in the Gambia. Look, there are a lot of coaches who will run away from that job, especially after qualifying for the quarters of the AFCON in 2019. That is a CV that you can take into any other job. He has the experience, he has the significant knowledge of the way Africans think and the management culture here, which is important because, look...
It is. If he survived in... So your point is, if he survived in the Gambia...
Oh, he will survive in Ghana.
He will survive in Ghana for sure. Anyway, so that's that. Tom